and why the squad didn't leverage its vote for the speaker for Medicare for all vote, and why the squad, I mean, with the margin so narrow in Congress.
It's so pathetic, dude. I can't even put into words how dumb this man is. I can't put into words how dumb these people are. These people should not have any platform. They shouldn't be talking to anybody about politics in general. They should make gaming channels or talk about their fantasy world somewhere else. The reason I cover this is because this line of thinking is so bad, and I do know people in real life that think this way. These force the vote people are so insane. So Cori Bush, if you don't know, she has been spending the past week fighting to make sure people don't lose their homes since the eviction moratorium ran out. As she is doing this, tired, outside, for hours and hours and hours fighting for this, Max Blumenthal, that idiot, walks up to her and says something about force the vote. About freaking force the vote. And Kyle Kulinski is going to cover it. It's laughably bad, dude. But look at what Blumenthal says to Cori Bush as she's doing this.
And then look at this interesting exchange.
And I heard, last night there was a lot less people. It's great to see so many more people. But I heard there was an intense debate about the role of the squad and why the squad didn't leverage its vote for the speaker for Medicare for all vote, and why the squad, I mean, with the margin so narrow in Congress.
It's so pathetic, dude. I can't even put into words how dumb this man is. I can't put into words how dumb these people are. These people should not have any platform. They shouldn't be talking to anybody about politics in general. They should make gaming channels or talk about their fantasy world somewhere else. The idea that they're going to go to somebody who is grinding right now, grinding their asses off in real politics to actually help people, they're going to go up to Cori Bush and say, what about force the vote? The online left wants to know. How dare you do that bullshit, dude? How pathetic do you need to be to even think about doing that? And there's that one small channel, I forget, it's those two guys that are mini populist lefties, the vanguards. They had an interview with freaking Noam Chomsky and said something about the online left and force the vote. These people don't know what they're talking about. Oh my God, they need to be on some type of drug that doesn't allow them to see how the world actually is.
Why the squad didn't leverage its vote on the stimulus to get $15 minimum wage.
No. So first, one thing that was said last night, which is something that's very true.
The $15 minimum wage. Dude, they bring that up all the time, and I keep on responding. Democrats in the Senate didn't want to do it. You don't throw away political power on things that not only were not going to work, but also were not possible, and it would not have resulted in any good political externalities for us. You just don't do that. You don't do what makes your emotions feel better. You do what's going to actually help people, and that's going to build your foundation to help people in the future.
And I wish we would have talked about that this was where your conversation was going, because we're talking about the rally for tonight. And I really would love to keep the conversation on what's happening.
I feel like it's all related to healthcare and
it absolutely is, but this is the thing. What was said last night is that this bill, Medicare for All, is not, there's no person on the squad whose bill that is. That is Bernie Sanders' bill in the Senate. It is Pamela Jayapal's bill in the House. It is not our bill. We cannot make that bill come to the floor. There is nothing that we can do legally to get the bill to the floor. We have.
But Pelosi could have brought the bill to the floor.
We're good here. Thank you.
They don't care about this entire political process here. They don't care about how things work in government. They think, if Democrats don't want the $15 minimum wage in the Senate, just make them do it. It's that simple. Just make them do it. Go to Joe Manchin's district. Go to his state and tell everybody that voted for Joe Manchin that Joe Manchin sucks. Which, by the way, wouldn't work, because if you go under Joe Manchin's nose, Joe Manchin wouldn't vote for the reconciliation packages at all. That's one thing about real politics people want to ignore during these conversations. She's talking about how it's Bernie Sanders's and Pramila Jayapal's bill. I think I said that right. Maybe I said it wrong. I don't know how to say her name correctly. But it's their bills. They're not going to do a big thing to disrupt the entire party when the people who wrote the bills don't even want to do that step because they don't think it'll work. Because they know it won't work. You're not going to be obstructionist for something that's not concrete. And that isn't super, super popular and being demanded right now within the party. There's not enough political power behind that move to do it. I mean...
I'm sorry, man.
I went through all these arguments 5 million times. in my Force the Vote debates. It's on my channel as the pinned video if anybody wants to watch it. It's me versus like a Kyle Kulinski clone. He even says the same words and he uses the same mannerisms and everything.
We're fine at this.
Why can't she answer the question?
We're here to talk about the eviction.
But I feel like it's all about healthcare.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
No, we're talking about people losing their homes. If you're in a Democratic state that has expanded Medicaid, you probably have some form of health care. That's another thing they ignore. When they're talking about Medicare for all is being demanded right now, that isn't exactly true. Most of the country does have some form of health care. A lot of the people that don't have health care, that are poor, are in extremely red states, and they are Republicans in many states. The numbers simply aren't there for a lot of these things. If you're in Pennsylvania, for example, and you're poor, you can apply for Medicaid. You're going to get Medicaid. You're going to be able to go to the doctor if you really need to. That is a thing. There aren't people literally dying on the streets in huge quantities that are like going to storm Washington demanding universal health care. They have the system set in a way where people are content with it. So it's a lot more complicated. It's complicated to the extent where you can't just barrel through it with anger and emotion.
We're here for a reason. It's about the motion.
Why is that? I can't ask about Medicare for all.
The congresswoman has slept 1 hour. She's done a lot of labor.
Okay, I'm trying to get people out here too. I'm trying to do the same thing.
Welcome back, DJ. Haven't seen you in a while. By the way, please consider dropping a like on the stream so my video gets boosted in the algorithm for this Vaush versus Tim Pool debate review.
You all are doing. But why can't she could just answer it and then I go away? I'm not trying to like attack her or anything. I'm not trying to smear her.
We're happy to give you a contact and you can reach out.
But why is that issue?
One thing I can see happening in America, by the way, a compromise healthcare solution would be like Australia. So everybody buys into Medicare. Everybody is on Medicare, unless if you opt out of it. So everybody needs to pay into Medicare. You don't have a choice. But if you have a lot of money and you want to opt out of Medicare and go for a private plan, you can get a rebate back from the government. So it's a two-tiered healthcare system. There's hospitals that accept Medicare, and then there's hospitals that accept like private insurance. So it's multi-payer to an extent where there's two tiers. The American public option as written wouldn't do that exactly. But like right now, for example, if they expanded the current form of Medicare to everybody, and then people had a choice to buy on to Medicare Advantage, I think that'd be a system that's sort of a compromise that allows a role for private insurance. Rich people still have a better coverage base. But also everybody that's poor is guaranteed some level of healthcare. And that's much better than what's happening in the US today. Even if Medicare for all, if Medicare for all becomes a super, super popular policy, we know how things happen in government. So even if you enter with an idealistic policy that's going to cover everybody for dental, vision, and family care and for elderly homes and everything, even if you have that policy, it's going to get chopped up like on the Senate floor through the House and whatever. So I know Bernie Sanders thought, for example, it was possible to do it through budget reconciliation. I'm not sure if that would hold up to do Medicare for all through budget reconciliation. That's what Bernie Sanders ran on when he was debating. They said, how are you going to get Medicare for all done? He said, we're going to do it through budget reconciliation. I don't know if that's a reality. But when it comes to the political process, it does get complicated. But there are many different forms of universal health care to try. But I have my reservations about the current public option that like Pete Buttigieg, right? Pete Buttigieg ran on.
The Medicare for all vote. So like she was wrapping up her, but she was wrapping up her, I know, she was wrapping up her answer. Then I was going to say thank you. Everybody come out.
I appreciate
But why didn't you let her just wrap up her answer?
I really appreciate you. We're happy to give you a contact. You can feel free to reach out. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks.
So again, on the issue of the eviction moratorium, don't get it twisted. She's 100% doing the right thing. She's fighting in the way that we want her to fight and others to fight. So credit where it's due. That's massively important. Having said that, the answer on this issue, Medicare for all.
You are only fighting if I approve of it. Your only form of fighting is my form of fighting, which is just be mad. Like, this is a position where you can be more of an activist. You can say we demand change. But fighting in politics, fighting in general, doesn't always mean you're going to go into a boxing ring and just try to throw haymakers. I use this example a lot. If you go to fight somebody or if you try to box somebody who is skilled and you simply come in and try to punch them like as hard as you can, that person is going to beat the crap out of you. Some things in politics takes a lot of discipline, and discipline is something that force the voters technically or usually lack.
For all is just not good. Basically what she's saying is this isn't our bill, so we can't do anything about it. But that means...
By the way, taking her words right there, she is trying to answer that question, but she's probably tired. You know, there's a little bit of other, there's a more of a narrative happening here. Like she's been sleeping in front of the cat. Like he literally just talked about what she's been doing. She isn't ready to have a Force the Vote debate with an idiot reporter. Like she's not ready to do that at this time. Like, dude, what?
Means you just don't understand what the ask was. Because the ask was Pelosi needed the votes of the squad in order to remain speaker. So the idea was, hey, withhold your vote from Pelosi unless Pelosi agrees to bring the Medicare for All bill
Yeah, what Sly Tennessee said, do what I want or you don't really care.
to the floor for a vote. And they didn't do that. Now, is it the case that like there is literally no possible response to that, to the question from Max? No. In fact, we had these debates and these discussions very publicly at the time, and the counter position to what my position is and what many on the left were saying, the counter position is the reason we didn't do it is because we don't think it would help the cause of Medicare for All. We think it would hurt the cause of Medicare for All because we know that the bill isn't going to pass. We know we don't have the votes. It would be a big defeat.
Dude, so many Democratic voters look at progressives as like childish activists that can't actually get anything done. Imagine if the squad would have held up the entire process to get Pelosi the speaker position. So they hold up that entire process. So Democratic voters are already mad because like 75% of Democratic voters still like Pelosi, even if voters in general don't. 75% of Democratic voters do. So they hold up that entire process. And then to show for it, they lose a vote in the House by like 150 to like 350. So the do-nothing progressives are going to lash out at the party and then lose a vote for Medicare for All by like 200. And what does that do for us? We already know who co-sponsors Medicare for All. If we really wanted to pick out who supports Medicare for All for real, or who supports universal healthcare for real, because Medicare for All is essentially universal healthcare. If you support that, you probably just support universal healthcare, even if you don't support Medicare for All exactly. If you already co-sponsor, and it's going to fail no matter what. And I heard Sam Cedar say this. I said this in all my debates. You can just do a fake vote. You can just vote yes on Medicare for. You could just vote. If they bring it up to a vote, if they force a vote, you can literally just vote for it. It won't matter because it won't pass. We already know who doesn't support it. Like, it's so dumb in so many ways, on so many different levels. And if you would have told me when I was having my prime debates about this topic that we'd still be talking about it in August, and that Cori Bush is sleeping in front of the Capitol to make sure the eviction moratorium doesn't leave millions on the streets, and a reporter was going to ask her about, dude, if you would have told me that, I'd be in disbelief.